In recent months, China has generated significant waves in the global defense community, particularly after unveiling two distinct versions of its purported sixth generation warplane at the Zhuhai Air Show in Guangdong. These futuristic science fiction like aircraft have sparked both awe and alarm, with many observers, especially in the West, scrambling to understand what this means for global military balance. With China's advancements in aviation technology and military capabilities seemingly outpacing many expectations, these new aircraft have caused an uneasy ripple in Washington, where discussions about America's own future warplanes have reignited. The Zhuhai Air Show revealed two working prototypes of what are speculated to be China's sixth-generation fighter jets. One, reportedly from Chengdu Aircraft Corporation, CAC, is a larger aircraft, while the other, believed to be from the Shenyang Aircraft Corporation, SAC, is more compact. Although these are likely demonstrator models, experimental aircraft designed to test new technologies, their appearance alone has stirred alarm. These planes were showcased with a confidence that belies the reality that their mass production is not yet a certainty. Nevertheless, the timing is significant. As the U.S. Air Force grapples with the economic pressures that have stalled its own sixth-generation fighter ambitions, China's display of innovation appears to be more than a mere show of technological prowess. It's a message. Washington is once again being asked to consider whether China is leapfrogging America's military capabilities, particularly in areas where the U.S. has traditionally enjoyed supremacy. The United States is embroiled in a dilemma that has long been apparent in its military-industrial complex. While the need for a sixth-generation air superiority fighter is clear, the road to production has been fraught with delays, budget overruns, and shifting priorities. The U.S. Air Force's Next Generation Air Dominance (NGD) program, which envisions a new generation of fighter jets, is facing serious obstacles, including the rising costs of development, technological challenges, and the undeniable toll of the nation's ballooning debt. In stark contrast, China's aggressive development and testing of advanced warplanes send a clear signal. While the U.S. military has long relied on its economic might and technological innovation to maintain global military dominance, China's growing capabilities, combined with its robust manufacturing base and large-scale production capacity, challenge that dominance. The Chinese military, having made significant strides in the production of fifth-generation warplanes such as the J-20 Mighty Dragon, is already positioning itself for the future. Despite the technological sophistication of the new Chinese aircraft, many defense analysts argue that China is playing a strategic game. By unveiling these demonstrators, Beijing is not necessarily signaling imminent mass production of sixth-generation warplanes. Instead, it is likely designed to provoke a reaction from the U.S. military and its allies. The Chinese government is fully aware of the challenges facing the U.S. defense budget and the massive debt load that continues to strain American resources. Beijing is keenly aware that the U.S. government's massive military expenditure, combined with financial instability, is a potential vulnerability. By presenting an image of technological superiority in the air, China is compelling the U.S. to make costly defensive moves, perhaps even at the risk of further economic strain. This type of psychological warfare is nothing new in international relations. The Cold War era saw similar tactics employed during the Soviet Union's space race, where the launch of Sputnik in 1957 sent the U.S. into a frenzy, resulting in a vast increase in space-related spending. In a similar vein, China's technological demonstration could be a ruse, intended to trigger an arms race that forces the U.S. to divert its attention and resources away from more pressing issues. While it's easy to fall into the trap of fearing what China may or may not be capable of in the near future, it's important to recognize the realities of military development. The Chinese sixth-generation fighter jets may look impressive, but they are still in their infancy. Even if Beijing moves forward with mass production, significant technological hurdles remain. For instance, the Chinese J-20 Mighty Dragon struggled for years with domestic engine production, only recently becoming operational with the Chinese-made WS-10 turbofan engine. Furthermore, despite China's apparent advancements, the US has its own ongoing projects, including demonstrators for a new generation of hypersonic aircraft and unmanned vehicles. The US is also developing new technologies like the SR-72, a hypersonic drone being tested by Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works. These innovations could potentially put the US back at the forefront of the sixth generation race. In the end, China's recent displays of air power are not just about showcasing cutting-edge technology. They are a calculated move in the ongoing geopolitical chess match between the US and China. The Chinese are using the threat of technological supremacy to put pressure on the US, not necessarily to field an air force of sixth-generation fighters in the immediate future, but to force Washington to respond in a way that could drain its economic and military resources. While the US cannot afford to ignore China's advances, it must also be cautious about overreacting. China's demonstrator models may be nothing more than the latest attempt to bait the US into a costly arms race. The challenge for America will be to focus on its own technological needs without succumbing to the lure of an artificial competition designed to exacerbate its financial vulnerabilities. The game is not just about keeping pace with China's air power. It's about avoiding the strategic trap China has set.